so much for the local scene, and he's doing a great thing tonight for the great Sis Sisaki. Welcome to the show, Joe Brody. How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good today. I appreciate being here. Thanks for that introduction. I need to bring you around everywhere with me to do that introduction.
Let's go. I'm down. I ain't got shit else to do. Let's go.
Well, man, we've got a really big event going on tonight, and that's what I'm here for, is to help let people know about what's happening. There's a lot of wrestlers in the area, in the Mid-Atlantic wrestling region. A lot of fans know Sis Sisaki. She's been around a pretty good amount of time in the business for her age. She's well-traveled and a very successful wrestler, and she's had kind of had the rug pulled out from under her. She was recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and she's undergoing treatment now, and she's in need of a lot of support, emotional and financial. And to that end, American Pro Wrestling, where I'm the matchmaker for American Pro Wrestling, and we've put together a benefit event tonight. That's December the 19th in Bradley, West Virginia, at the Bradley Prosperity Fire Department. We affectionately call that the Mountain State Sportatorium, and that's where we do all of our television tapings. And tonight, every wrestler has donated their time and effort, so that every dime of the gate money is going to go to Sis Sisaki. And Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, Handsome Jimmy's going to be there. Sis trained at Boogie's Wrestling Camp down in Shawsville, Virginia. So there's a connection there. We're going to have Santa Claus there for the kids tonight. And I've got a lineup of 6 big matches tonight, and 3 of them are title matches.
Hell yeah. And I want to run those down. I want to talk, because it's a stacked card, Joe. You've outdone yourself with this one. And to the wrestlers working for free, God bless you, because you've got some names on this show. It's a stacked card. So, and I was planning on making the trip myself. Couldn't wait to make my first APW show, but life happened, and hey, things happen sometimes. So
They do.
I'm sure you guys will do just fine without Spooky Lou. You guys have been doing just fine without me. And like you said, you're on TV in the area. I've been watching the show, loving what you're doing. But let's talk about this card. What match you looking forward to the most tonight, Joe?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The one I'm really looking forward to is going to be the main event. It's an American title match between Jeff Paul and Cyclops, and that's somebody a lot of people in this area in southern West Virginia are very familiar with both men. They do have a history with each other, but not in APW. Last Thursday night, Jeff Paul defeated Crash Cassidy for the American heavyweight title, and Cyclops made his debut and challenged him immediately to a title match. And Jeff kind of wanted to back up on that a little bit, but in my capacity as a matchmaker, I said, hey, you've got a contract. You're supposed to be here next week for this event, so I'm going to make the match. And we lined it up and hooked it up, and that's our main event. American heavyweight title on the line tonight between 2 guys who know each other very, very well.
Oh, man. When that was announced, that lit the socials, that lit the internet on fire whenever people saw that. And you can go through the channel. You talk about a history between those two. I've got just about every match between those two on the channel. I mean, just as recently as over the summer, they're having half-hour matches and just fighting in the crowd. And a lot of hatred there, a lot of history. I can't wait to see what they do.
I believe they've traded that PWL title back and forth between them a couple of times. So either one of them can come out on top tonight and be the new American heavyweight champion. Now, here's the thing about Cyclops coming in. He has never wrestled for APW, right, but we're an NICW world title tournament. Now, a lot of fans may not realize that NICW is a promotion that's been around a long time. They're based out of Virginia, and they are the governing body for APW, National Independent Championship Wrestling. And it's got the world title has, for them, is defended in several promotions and in several states. It's been taken overseas. When Victor Andrews was the heavyweight champion, he took the title to Europe. So it is a legitimate title. It's been defended in multiple states here in the United States. And Crash was an admirable champion. He did a great job with the belt. He represented the company and the fans very well. And we were glad to have him as champion. But now that Jeff's champion, I told him last week he's got a long line of contenders. And that American title makes him the automatic #1 contender in that NICW World Title Tournament. And that tournament, the seedings are not complete. It's a 16-man tournament. And right now, the #1 contender, because by virtue of the fact that he was the American champion at the time the seedings were set up, Crash Cassidy's the #1 seed. The #2 seed is Mike Mars, the Viking Warrior. Okay. #3 seed is Jeff Paul, by virtue of his one-loss record and his history with the company. And the number 4 seed is the NICW Mid-Atlantic Heritage Champion, Bobby Yella. So that's going to be very interesting. A lot of guys are vying for a slot in that tournament, and that was actually Cyclops' original reason for coming into APW, because we were chosen by NICW to host that world title tournament. So those matches are going to be taking place throughout January and probably into February, every Thursday night right here at the Mountain State Sportatorium in Beckley, West Virginia. Now, there's probably some confusion on the part of a lot of people. There's a kind of a funny story about the address for the Mountain State Sportatorium.
Okay.
Years ago, when everybody went to the addresses, the EMS service had everybody change. You know, like if you used to live on Littlesburg Road, you had a PO box, or you had a box number, and that was your address. Well, they changed everything. Everybody's got a number. Every building's got a number now.
Okay.
Well, Mount Hope and Bradley are just right up against. They butt right up against the city limit of the city of Beckley, and they brought in a lot of people from out of state to do those address changes, and they went around locally, you know, and they did that, and they had no idea where the actual line was. So the fire department is officially in the unincorporated area of Bradley, which is only about a half a mile outside the Beckley city limits.
Okay.
But because Bradley is squeezed between Beckley and Mount Hope, and they actually gave the physical address as Mount Hope. So technically we're in Beckley, but the fire department is the Bradley Prosperity Fire Department, and the physical address now is 5950 Robert C. Byrd Drive, Mount Hope. So there's really 3 ways that you can describe where the building is. But it's really only about a mile from the Raleigh Mall here in Beckley, West Virginia. That's right off the I-77-64 interstate on the North Beckley Summersville exit. You get off there and you go about probably a mile off of the interstate on Route 19 North, and then you get off at the North Beckley exit, and from there you head right up the road, and it's only about a mile from the interchange.
There you go. Well, hey, folks got the GPS nowadays. Pop it in your GPS, you'll find it. If you want to get there, you'll get there.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You mentioned Bobby Yella. That's another match I'm excited for, Joe. Big fan of Eric Steele. Big fan of Bobby Yella. I think it's going to be a war. What are you seeing in this one?
Well, I do know when I made that match, I was aware of the fact that Eric and Bobby have never wrestled each other before.
Really?
No, they have not. They've been on a lot of the same cards together. They know each other, but they have never competed against each other. So this should be something that's a first.
How about that? Talk about a contrast. You got a rivalry between Jeff Paul and Cyclops. We've seen them go to war many times, and then you got your first time matchups. That's a nice contrast. I think I'm going to have to light up a cigarette myself on that one, Joe. You got me excited.
I'm nervous. I had actually quit smoking for several years, but my stress level's been through the roof the last month or so, and I've started back up. So everybody, excuse me and do as I say, not as I do. Don't ever start, because quitting is a beast that's hard to beat.
Yeah, I second that. Yeah, I'm setting a crappy example myself, but hey, we're in the wrestling business. It's stressful. I say it all the time. You got to have something. If it's just cigarettes, then we ain't so bad.
It's a funny thing. Years ago, when I was an active wrestler, I came in a time where it was pretty easy to wrestle 4, 5, 6, even 7 days a week, and I wrestled for a living for several years, and I was a heavy smoker, and I smoked Camels at that time.
Ooh.
And I could smoke all day, all the way to the building, sit in the locker room and smoke, and go out and wrestle a 20, 30, 45-minute match, and come back, and the first thing I do is light a cigarette. So, it's just really strange. Some people it affects in one way, and some people it doesn't. But we need to talk about better stuff than that.
Yeah, better stuff than smoking. But hey, well, let's go into your in-ring career. A lot of folks aren't aware that Joe Brody, hey man, you was tearing it up and down the East Coast. Just give me some highlights. What was some of your favorite moments while you was a wrestler?
Well, there's a lot of them, to be honest with you. I mean, I've won titles. My brother Mark and I, we won the the Appalachian Wrestling Alliance tag team titles 4 different times.
Nice.
Won the Appalachia Pro Wrestling tag team titles 3 times. I was a West Virginia Pro Wrestling West Virginia champion as a single, and I was a 3-time All-Star Wrestling United States champion. I've wrestled on TV for various promotions. I've wrestled a lot of guys and been on cards with a lot of guys that unfortunately are not around any longer. Like, a good friend of mine was Buddy Landale. I've wrestled the Rock and Roll Express and Ricky Morton. I consider him a friend. Boogie, of course, has been a good friend of mine for almost 30 years. And I've wrestled on cards with people like Tully Blanchard and Manny Fernandez and Bobby Eaton and the Iron Sheik. I've been on cards with Sting and Ted DiBiase before. And that's something that a lot of wrestlers can't say today. They don't get an opportunity to say they ever even met those guys, let alone either been in the ring with them or been on a card with them.
I'm glad that's something we talk about on the show all the time, and I'm glad I have you on to get your opinion, Joe. You're a promoter. You've worked with names. Our area, we don't get a whole lot of names a lot of times, and I get it. A lot of folks have told me they just don't sell tickets. You don't have those hardcore wrestling fans that are going to buy a ticket just for this name. My argument is iron sharpens iron. Of course, I'm not paying the wrestlers, so it's easy for me to say. But I think it is crucial to have these vets that's made it to TV and made it to the big time to work with some of the smaller guys. But you're the man. You've been around for a while. You tell me your side of things on this.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people inside the wrestling business where I'm not exactly Mr. Popularity, but my name's Willy Wonka, and I don't sugarcoat anything, and I have my opinions, and I believe them, and if I'm asked, I'm going to state them.
Okay.
But my personal opinion is that the problem with the names in this area is not so much that they won't draw, it's that they've been overexposed.
Okay.
Guys that are willing to come here, they will come, and some of them for a reasonable booking fee, and some of them not so much. But the problem is that they've been overexposed. A lot of the guys, what happens is they'll take a booking on Friday night with one promotion, and then they'll be 5 miles down the road for another promotion on Saturday night, and then another 10 15 miles down the road for the third promotion on Sunday afternoon. And it's just overexposure. And I understand they're trying to make a living too, but you cannot step on yourself or step on the promotion that you're working for. It just dilutes everything, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give you a prime example. Years ago, when the old Appalachia Pro Wrestling was running here in southern West Virginia, I was actually the booker for that promotion for about a 6-month period of time. Mm-hmm. When I took over booking, they were doing weekly shows every Tuesday night, which was great for the wrestlers, but they weren't drawing. Honestly, their draw was about 20 to 25 people tops every Tuesday night.
Yikes.
When I took over as the booker, about 6 weeks later, I had built it up to about 150 a week on Tuesday night.
Hell yeah.
And then, another month after that, we were doing close to 200 on Tuesday night. And I used Ricky Morton here in order to help us do that. Mm-hmm. But we told a story and we built it up for a reason for Ricky to be here through the matches and through the booking, and people wanted to come and see it. And, God love him. I want Ricky to make all the money in the world, and I absolutely love him to death. But, him and Carrie came and worked for me back in the spring here in Beckley. And we drew pretty good for that event with them. And but they came right back and worked against me. I'm not going to mention any name, but somebody came and ran in the same town as me, ran a place that was a mile away from my weekly television building, and they went and worked for him, and I can't bring him back. I'd love to have him and Carrie both back, but nobody's going to come and pay to see them, no matter what I do with them in the ring, if they've been overexposed in the area. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. And there's a lot of guys that are that way. I'm not trying to pick on Ricky. I love him. I don't have anything against him. There's no heat. He's making a living. He's making money, and he's out there for the fans, and I'm all for that. Right. But businessman, as a promoter and a booker, it makes no sense for me to invest in that. I'll just tell you another story. And this one still gets under my skin, and it's been years. But I grew up in an area here in southern West Virginia when the Poffos ICW was a pretty big deal here.
Nice, big fan.
They were on TV every week on Channel 4, WOAY, out of Oak Hill here. And they ran monthly events at the Raleigh County Armory here in Beckley. And they would run in Bluefield and Madison and several other towns, on an infrequent basis surrounding West Virginia. And I made a trip to the Dan Gable Wrestling Museum in Waterloo, Iowa. And I spoke to Thunderbolt Patterson and Bob Roop while I was there. And I told them my idea. I wanted to do an event here in Beckley at the Raleigh Armory, which is the Raleigh Convention Center now, which is where ICW had all those events. And I wanted to make it a festival kind of thing, the same way that WrestleCade is done in North Carolina.
Okay. And
I wanted it to be an all-day event. I wanted to have vendors and have other promotions in. And I wanted to have seminars. I was going to rent a big screen, a projection screen, and play matches from ICW, and then have individual guys. I wanted Bob Roop and Thunderbolt Patterson, and I was going to get Bob Orton Jr. I'm sorry, and Ronnie Garvin and One Man Gang and Rick Link, and possibly even like Al Snow, who did a couple of TV appearances for ICW back in the day, and have all those guys come out and give a little talk, about their time in ICW and different things. And Lanny Poffo was still alive at the time, and I spoke to another promoter that I respected, and he was going to help me, wanted to go in with it. And he recommended that I speak to a sponsor about doing it. And so I spoke to the sponsor, and I told him the idea, and he said, that's great. Let's do it. Let's do it immediately. I said, no, we can't do it immediately. I said, this thing's got to be put together and done right. It's got to be promoted right. And we have to have time. At the time, there had just been a wrestling event at the Beckley Armory. And I said, we've got to give it a little bit of time, And, well, the next thing I know, that sponsor went with somebody else, and they ran a show and brought a bunch of those ICW guys in to sign autographs and make an appearance for another promoter. And it just killed the whole idea. I was like, just there's no point. There's no point. And they didn't draw 1/3 or do even 1/10 of what I had planned to do with it. So, I love to work with other promoters. I've been trying for 25 years to get the promoters in West Virginia to work together, to recognize one set of champions, to set up some basically some rules. If you're going to put guys in the ring, they need to have wrestling gear. They need to be properly trained. We need to promote guys that know what they're doing. And I've come close several times, but I've never quite been able to make it happen. There are people that I work with, like within ICW, and I'm working with PWL right now, and I've worked with Mega Pro Wrestling a little bit, and we have a good relationship. But I'm talking to some other promoters, and I'm still trying to put everybody together in West Virginia and make something real happen. I have TV here in the calendar year 2024. By the end of the year, next week, I will have run 76 live events this year.
Nice.
And my television is not just seen here in Southern West Virginia. We're on Fox 59, WVNS every Saturday night at midnight here in Southern West Virginia. But we are on in Martinsville, Virginia on Friday nights at 8:00. We're on Saturday afternoons in Reidsville, North Carolina, which is in the Greensboro television market. And our television show also plays on WWON 48 in Brooklyn, New York every week.
Nice.
There's not very many indies out there that can say their TV is reaching a multi-state audience. And I just recently this week cut a deal to put us back on national and international streaming. And I'm hoping that's going to start in January.
Good. And you brought up a good point. It's a start. You talk about everybody working together. Just the fact that you're working with PWL, that's a huge step in the right direction. And I've always been the first to say, if West Virginia is doing anything right at the moment, we're making our own stars. And that includes you with Chase Bennett and Corey, the Shooter Society. You got Yellow Man. You're making stars. And like you say, you've got a TV audience. You're on legit television. It's not YouTube. So you're doing something right. But let's go back to PWL. We've had Jeff on the show. And you tell me your side of things. How did we mend things, and how do we get to working with PWL?
Well, here's the thing. I don't have to be best friends with anybody to do business. When it comes right down to the nitty gritty where the rubber meets the road, I'm a businessman, and there was a positive side to me working with Jeff Paul. So we had an intermediary make the connection between us after a lot of years of heat between the two of us, and we've been able to work it out, and so far it's been to everybody's benefit. There's not been any issue. He's been on board with us now for since back in the spring, and he's an integral part of what's going on now with APW. So him having the championship is proof in the pudding, I guess. So we did our first co-promoted event was done in Bluefield on Halloween night. Just a little over a month ago, a little over a month ago, and that went really well. And we have plans on doing co-promoted events in the future. And I've helped him out. I've helped PWL out by providing my ring to them on a night when they had 2 events booked in the same day. And I've used worked with John Cooper with Mega Pro Wrestling in the same fashion. I used his ring for some of my early events with APW, and about a year and a half ago, and we've had APW titles defended on Mega Pro and PWL events. And if people can do business the right way, I'm open to working with absolutely anyone.
I love it. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Well, let's talk about mending this scene, because believe me, it's chaos. It's always chaos in the West Virginia wrestling scene. I think there's some that's just going to be left by the wayside. But like you said, business, you're down to do business. What's some other promotions you're looking at, or are you just focused on APW right now? Who would you like to work with in a perfect scenario?
Well, I really don't want to kind of let the cat out of the bag, but I'm trying right now in the last week to put together a sit-down meeting with myself and 5 other promotions.
Okay.
Try to work it out to where we can work together and basically just come up with a framework to support each other. And there's a lot of advantages to that. And again, I don't want to spill too much of the business side of things out in a public forum. I come from the old school kayfabe era, so
understandable.
There's a lot of positives to it, and I'm really hoping that this time it comes to fruition. I can go back in the late '90s. There were basically 4 promoters running in West Virginia.
Okay.
There was Jim Hawkins ran Mason-Dixon Wrestling up in the northern part of the state. He ran Morgantown and Clarksburg and Kingwood and several towns, in that area. Mm-hmm. And there was Eddie Edmonds ran Mountain State Wrestling Association, and he ran kind of the central part of the state. And then myself, I basically had everything in the southern part of the state. And then there was a little corner over around Logan in that area where Jeff Layne was promoting shows. And we all worked together and cooperated. And I was a wrestler at the time, and I wrestled on events for all of those guys. And I had their guys come and work on my events. And we didn't step on each other's toes. We tried to coordinate our dates so that we had the best talent available to us. One big thing that I see right now is everybody only wants to run shows on Saturday night. And you got promotions out there that are running once a month, once every 6 weeks. And then you got promotions that are running every other week or mm-hmm. But I'm running every week. And there's been multiple times in the last year that I've ran a 3 or 4 day loop, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes even a Sunday. And there's an advantage to booking wrestlers that way. You can get a carload of top level guys to come in here out of Tennessee or North Carolina. And if you can book them for multiple days, number one, it ups your talent level. And number two, it exposes guys to the fans here that they don't normally get to see.
Yep.
And it's really an economic advantage to the wrestlers to do that.
For sure.
I'm one of the guys that I've been known to buy a hotel room for a guy coming in out of town and have it for him for 2 or 3 days to make that loop. And you know, coming from the era that I came from, to me, it's just absolutely ridiculous that everybody's trying to run on Saturday night only, and they're killing each other, stepping all over each other's toes. I chose Thursday night for our TV tapings for that very reason. Nobody else was running Thursday night.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. And like I say, the TV's great. I've been watching it. You can check it out on Rumble. And like you say, it's going to be on Roku. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. Let's sell this show a little bit more before we leave it too far behind us. We've ran down a couple matches as far as the title matches. What do you think could be a sleeper match for the show tonight?
Well, I'll be honest with you. A match with big implications with two big men involved is the Viking Warrior Mike Mars and Pony Johnson. Anybody that's ever seen either one of those men live know they both go up around that 300-pound mark. Mm-hmm. They both are very mobile for men that size, and they have wrestled each other on an APW event once before. And man, it was an absolute hammer and tong, tooth and nail slobber knocker, and I'm not expecting anything less tonight.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Has implications for the NICW World Title Tournament too, because like I said, Mike Mars is right now is the number 2 seeded man in that tournament, and Pony Johnson, I'm positive is going to be in the tournament. So there's implications involved there as well.
I've seen both men do their thing. Got to watch Pony do his thing live. Two big just studs that can go, man. So that'll be a good one.
I've known Pony now for well over 20 years. He's an old PWF guy. If any of you guys remember the George Stallion Italian South PWF promotion, and I worked for them for a little stretch, and I've known him, like I said, 20 years. It's actually been over 20 years, and he's got nothing but better in that time. Me, I'm an old man. I'm done, but Pony looks like he could go right now with anybody toe to toe in the world.
I didn't see him being, not to take a dig at you, not taking no digs, but I didn't think Pony was that old to be in the business 20 years. That's wild. It looks like a strapping young lad,
Yep, absolutely. He's a whole lot better preserved than I am, that's for sure.
Them damn cigarettes, Joe.
He's well preserved and I'm pickled. You know what I mean?
Tell me about some of the changes you've seen. You've been in the area, especially just me as a fan. I've seen things really take off in the past few years, but I think you would have a better perspective since you've been in the business so long. Tell me about the good, the bad, and the ugly in the West Virginia wrestling scene, the changes over the years.
Okay. The good is that there's a lot of wrestling out there for fans. The bad is unfortunately, in my opinion, there's a lot of guys that are allowed to get in the ring today and call themselves professional wrestlers that are not.
Okay.
And that there's a lot of things that I'm not trying to squash anybody's dream or anything like that. But number one, you need to be of at least an adequate size, unless you're specifically wrestling as a cruiserweight.
Okay.
Need to be reasonably in shape. And you need to have wrestling gear.
Yeah.
My pet peeve is the tennis shoe and t-shirt crew that's allowed to get in the ring today, and I have a real issue with that. And my philosophy on that is, why would anybody spend their hard-earned money to come and buy a ticket and look at you in the ring, wearing the same thing they can see you walking up and down the aisle in Walmart in?
Yeah.
And I hate it. I'll just be honest with you. I hate it. And a lot of young guys have problems with me over that, but I'll tell them straight up, you're not wearing that in my ring.
I'm all for it. Here's my thing. If you want to be a wrestler, you must kind of like it. I love and respect it. I had an opportunity. I started training this summer, and I'll be damned if I would get in there with tennis shoes and not be ready if I was going to have a match. Can't take a bump, can't throw a suplex, don't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch, the whole nine. Have some respect for it. It's my thing.
Yeah. If you're going to be a punch kick guy at least know how to throw a punch and a kick. A lot of guys today, you can look at them in the ring and say, well, that guy's never been in a real fight in his life.
There you go. Yeah.
And again, and that's not me trying to pee down nobody's back. That's just, as a fan, as a longtime fan, for God's sakes, when I became a fan, Terry Funk was the NWA World Champion, if that tells you anything.
Okay.
1975, 76.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do with APW specifically, I'm trying to bring back studio style TV in the same way that Memphis used to do studio TV that was so over with the fans for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that comes through to the fans. The set that we have to do our interviews for our TV program, it is by design supposed to evoke memories of people from the old Georgia Championship Wrestling TV set from 1982. And that's by design. I want it that way.
Nice. I mean, even your intro and the music, it's definitely a throwback. I enjoy that.
Yeah. I want people that are fans like myself that might have been turned off by the modern sports entertainment product to realize that there is still pro wrestling out there, and it's available to them if they want it, and we're there every week.
Well, I think you got to go with what you know and play to your strengths. I'm the first to say wrestling can be anything you want it to be. I'm one of these goofs going to no ring death matches and just I'm for everything. But you come from the old school. You watched it on TV. You were on these TV shows. So it's what you know. It's what you're good at. So go with what you know.
Absolutely. I want to present a product, number one, that I can be proud of. And number two, it's something that as a fan that I would enjoy. And I strive to do that every week. And, I've told a couple of guys who told me I need to modernize and do this and do that and allow this and allow that. And I've told them, I said, look, you got plenty of other places to go that'll allow that. And if you don't want to do it the way I want it done, then no harm, no foul. Work out your dates and I'll see you later.
Okay.
And guys leave, and that's okay. That's fine by me. We run a training school here at APW, and we're bringing in some talent. I got a guy that's going to be a star in this business. Cade Kovalt has a huge, enormous upside to him, and he's only been training about 6 months, and he's already had several matches. If you saw the match he had on television against Eric Steele, he stepped up and took that match at the last minute's notice, and he didn't get the win, but he gave a pretty good account of himself. And I just think the kid's got a heck of a bright future because he's learning things the right way. He's learning them the way I learned them, and that's, to me, that's the right way.
And how good does it make you feel to make these new stars? I've talked to Chase numerous times about you were the first to give him an opportunity, and you've looked out for him. It's got to make you feel good, right?
I'll tell you a story about Chase. I see an absolutely tremendous upside potential in Chase, and he has fulfilled a lot of that potential right here in APW in the last year. But I still think that with sanding off just a few of his rough edges, and he can take the next step up. He really can, because he's got an athletic background as an amateur wrestler that a lot of guys in this business don't have.
Yep.
We've got an NICW competitor that's worked for us. USA Tony Ray is another one that has an excellent amateur background, and Tony's absolutely bull strong. And these guys are guys that would have been able to get into the business years ago when I got in, and that's really what I look for. Having a character that sets you apart from the next guy is a great thing, but
right.
Fundamental and basics and knowledge in that ring are what's going to carry you through. And Chase has got it. He's got it, and he's got a desire. And if I can just knock the indie out of him and help him a little bit more, I think I can help him step up to the next level.
I dig it. Knock the indie out of him. Hey, there's a few of them that, hey, I love my indie wrestling. There's where we're a little different. Like I say, I'm the first to say wrestling could be anything you want it to be. I'm for the blue cane, the gay cane, all the canes they got going on today. I love the entertainment part of it, obviously.
Always been entertaining. Always been entertaining.
For sure.
there was always, when I became a fan, up until the mid '80s, I guess, really, there was always a suspension of disbelief there that you thought, man, when you go back and you watch a match, for instance, like the Magnum TA Tully Blanchard I Quit match.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those guys were beating the absolute tar out of each other. You go back and watch any Ronnie Garvin match, any Wahoo McDaniel match, there was never a doubt in your mind that was one tough man. Harley Race, in my opinion, probably the best world champion of all time, because legit, if you didn't believe him, he would smack your teeth out of your head for you,
right?
And didn't care. And that's the way this business used to be.
Oh, it's still happening. I'm still seeing guys slapped around. You've been in the ring. Who's hit you harder than anybody else? And who have you seen live in person? Really, if you got any stories about somebody getting just messed up, just battered.
I don't know about getting messed up live, but as a fan, one of the best matches that I ever saw, I got to see Bruiser Brody against Abdullah the Butcher live.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was about a year before Brody got killed, and it was on a National Wrestling League event in Bluefield, West Virginia, and man, they just really went after each other. They went all over the building, and typical Brody Abdullah match, and I really am grateful that I got a chance to see that. But I saw a lot of really, really good classic matches live. I grew up in Bluefield, and a lot of people don't realize that Bluefield was a hub for professional wrestling for years and years. I give you, for instance, the Fuller's promotion out of Knoxville, Tennessee in the late 70s. Back then, you could get the Johnson City TV station, Channel 5, in Bluefield. And their out of Knoxville was played on that Johnson City station. So you could see, in Bluefield, you could see that television show. And they came to Bluefield about once a month for a live event. And I went to a lot of those events live. And then later on, in about 1980, they sold that promotion. Actually, a lot of people may not know, but Blackjack Mulligan and Ric Flair bought that territory, and they ran it for about 18 months, and they took over those towns. And I saw a lot of great Mid-Atlantic stars working those events there. But when that promotion went out of business in 1982, Georgia Championship Wrestling started coming and running in Bluefield regularly. Okay. And, that's, at the time you had Tommy Rich, Buzz Sawyer, Mr. Wrestling 2, the Freebirds, the Masked Superstar and Super Destroyer. I mean, those were loaded up cards, and they came to Bluefield regularly. And when they stopped coming in late 82 and 83, 84, Jim Crockett Promotions, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling started coming to Bluefield. And in the interim there, ICW would come every so often, and that was the Paphos promotion. And you had Ronnie Garvin, you had One Man Gang, you had he was Crusher Broomfield at the time. You had Lanny Poffo, Bob Roop, Bob Orton. I'm thinking there was just a Rip Rogers. A lot of those guys came through, and I saw them live as well. So Bluefield has a long, long history of some top level wrestling, and I actually missed it because I was in the Marine Corps and was overseas at the time. But people don't realize that when Lex Luger beat Michael Hayes for the U.S. title in '89, it was at the Brush Fork Armory in Bluefield on the television. It was a worldwide television taping.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know. I like to think I know my stuff. I'll be. And so, even in my day, Joe, when I was growing up, Smoky Mountain would come to Fairmont. I went to some Smoky Mountain shows. The first big-time wrestler I ever met was Ricky Morton.
Smoky Mountain ran shows. They ran Bluefield once, I think, but they did Beckley once a month for about a year or more.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And just this week, I actually emailed WAOY-TV about the old television show they had out of Oak Hill, trying to get some footage, but I guess it's all burned up, unfortunately.
I've been hunting for that footage for 30 years, brother.
Well, maybe if we join forces.
The only person that has any of it at all that I'm aware of is Richie Acevedo, the Cuban assassin, who just recently retired, and he has one of the last episodes, a complete episode before they went out of business when the studio burnt down there. But it's the same thing with older Memphis stuff. they used the same tapes. Back then they were the big 1-inch professional quality videotapes, the VTRs, and those were very, very expensive. So the promotions that had television, they taped over them. They did week after week after week on those tapes. So nobody saved it because they had no idea the internet was ever going to be around.
Right. Yep. And you mentioned Richie. That's a perfect segue. Recently, you guys hosted the retirement match. We've had Cuban on the show to talk about saving a man's life. You talk about important stuff.
Yep.
Tell me how important he's been to your organization and help some of these younger athletes.
Cuban Assassin has been my friend, and we for about a 6-month run. We were even tag team partners before I retired for close to 30 years. He is not only a top-notch wrestler, but he is a top-notch human being. He's one of my best friends in this business, and I have absolutely nothing but good to say about him. He's never canceled a booking on me. He's always shown up and done exactly what he was asked and helped do everything he could to make the shows better. And I'm going to tell you, I already miss his presence at the APW weekly TV tapings.
I hear you. I know. I've been in locker rooms with him, and man, he's the first. You're going to get a story if you're around that man. You're either going to get some knowledge or a story. He'll talk to anybody, and trying to help the cause. So he's one of the good ones for our scene. Talking about Cuban, let's talk about some other guys in our area over the past few years that really helped build West Virginia wrestling. Who would you put over in that aspect?
Well, I'm going to tell you, this guy is got he's dead now, but he was one of my best friends. I spent basically 4 years in the car with this guy basically every day. The best technical bell-to-bell wrestler that's ever come out of the state of West Virginia was Scotty McKeever.
Okay.
Scotty could go in the ring with absolutely anybody. You could pull somebody out of the crowd and put them in the ring with Scotty, and he'd have a good match with them. He was like a savant when it come to wrestling between the ropes. And I learned so much from Scotty about promoting and booking and wrestling in general. He's another one that I miss horribly bad. And I wish that he was here to see what we're doing right now. Wow. Another guy, a lot of people have issues with him, but one of the best wrestlers in the world at one time, and definitely one of the best to ever come out of West Virginia, was Brian Logan. Okay. In the ring at one time, Brian was one of the best ever. Of course, you got Cuban, you got Joey Morton. Joey was a little bit on the smaller side for a wrestler, but man, you never knew it. You never thought about that when he was in the ring. He was just a top-notch guy. Another guy who was just unbelievably good in the ring was Punchy McGee, and he's from up in your area. Punchy was a great guy to have in the locker room. I always enjoyed being around him. I had actually wrestled him a couple of times and always had good matches with him. And he was a top-notch guy. If he would have been born 20 years before and got in the wrestling business, he'd have been a top star. Not a doubt in my mind. He was that good.
Hell yeah. I've heard all those names and heard very good things about all those names you named. So, West Virginia legends, folks, take note. I'm glad to have you on here because we always talk about the now. We don't get to talk about the past with the people that's lived it. So I appreciate you joining us, Joe. We're rolling into the end of at least this segment. We got another guest coming up for you. But before I let you go, Joe, let's run down this card one more time. What can folks expect? I know you got some crazy raffles going on. There's a lot of information to put out there. So anything you want to put out there, you have at it.
The doors open tonight at the Bradley Prosperity Fire Department, the Mountain State Sportatorium, at 6:30. Bell time's at 7:30. We're going to have Santa Claus there for the kids. Handsome Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant's going to be there signing autographs. The lineup of matches, again, as I told you, is the main event is Jeff Paul and Cyclops for their first ever match in APW with the title on the line. And we've got Bobby Yella and Eric Steele with the NICW Mid-Atlantic title. We've got a TV title match that's been several months in the working. If you've been paying attention to our TV, you know that Baron Victor Krause has been hot after the APW television champion, Dragon Scott Lee, and that match is going to be tonight for the TV title.
Nice.
We also have a tag team, a new tag team that just recently won the tag belts, local guys, TJ Walker and Denny Burgess, and they're going to be defending the belts tonight against young wrestlers AJ Evans and Tyler Osborne. You're probably familiar with both of them.
Very, very.
And
love them both.
They're young guys who are, they're making strides in their career, and they get their opportunity at the tag team belts tonight. We've got a sort of a reunion tonight. Scott Storm, who is a former APW tag team champion with Chase Bennett as the Storm Chasers, is returning tonight, and he's going to be in a 6-man tag with Chase and Corey Sparks, and they're going to be taking on the Bronx Bombers and Dixon Bad. And Dixon's another one, a young guy that's come on with us, and he's not really hit his stride yet, but I'm going to tell you something. He's got a mean right hand on him. If he uncorks it on you, he can dim your running lights for sure.
Okay.
And Dixon had a series of matches against Bobby Yella in the last few weeks, and he really made an impression. There's every good possibility that he's going to get an NICW Cruiserweight title match with Santiago very, very soon. And, just a lot of guys. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, and I don't mean to, but a lot of good matches tonight.
That's stacked. I mean, good on you for remembering all that. I couldn't remember all that myself, so it's almost like you booked it or something.
I can tell you cards that I booked from 25 years ago. That, and that's another thing I want to plug real quick. If anybody wants to see any of these guys in action that I mentioned earlier, if you go to rumble.com, it's a free app on your phone, or you can go to it on the computer. It's free. Basically, it operates just like YouTube does. But if you go to rumble.com and you look American Pro Wrestling TV channel up, all of our APW television shows are up on there. But I've got an absolute ton of older JDR Promotions footage on there. That my USACW TV shows are on there. A lot of the old Appalachia Pro Wrestling TVs are on there. A lot of live events that I did over the years are on there. And if anybody wants to check out any of those names, and I will have to say there's a lot of the old Brody Brothers tag team matches on there too. I'd love for people to check those out and give us some comments on what they think on all of that old stuff.
I'll be. See, you just sold me. I wasn't aware, and I'm always looking for the old West Virginia footage, so I'll be checking it out myself.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I've already said it. I've admitted it. I'm an old man, and but I literally have about 3,000 VHS tapes that I'm slowly but surely converting over to digital and uploading them. And I'm sitting here at my desk right now at the computer, and I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm looking at 10 baskets of DVDs that I've converted off of VHS tapes right now that I've only got a fraction of that loaded up, and I'm uploading stuff all the time.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right for an old man. It seems like you got a handle on this technology.
Well, I don't know about having a handle on it. It's kind of like having a tiger by the tail. You can't let go because there's teeth in the other end.
Hell yeah, Joe. I appreciate you joining me. It's been a hell of a conversation, and you're welcome on in the future. Definitely love to have you on here again. I'll ask you to hang on the line with me so I can talk to you after we let the fine viewers go. But to the viewers, this is why we do it, man. This is the history of our scene, somebody that's lived it, somebody contributing and making the scene better. So I thank you for that, Joe. This is episode 200. We ain't done yet. We still got plenty more to come. Hang in after this commercial break. I'm about to blow your mind. Just hang in there with me. I ain't saying bye yet. I'm saying stick around. It's going to get a lot crazier. Thank you, Joe Brody.
Brother.
Hell yeah. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said congratulations on 200 episodes. Glad to be a part of it.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you as part of it. I think it's very it's the way it should be. Just the way it should be, Joe. So I appreciate you being on here. And like I say to the listeners, stay tuned. It's about to get a lot crazier.
And come on out tonight.
And get out there tonight. 6:30 bell time. $10 get you in the door. Benefiting a great gal. Information, links going to be in the description. That way you have zero excuse. Get your ass to Mount Hope tonight.
Sis Sisaki, we're all with you 100%. We're behind you. On December the 19th, right here in the Mountain State Sportatorium, we're going to have a show that's dedicated to you. You're going to be here. A lot of fans are going to be here. We want everybody to come out and support you. I want each and every fan of APW, if you could possibly make it out here on December the 19th, don't do it for me, don't do it for the wrestlers, but do it for Sis Sisaki.
WrestleRoni 200. Allow me to introduce to you the PWL Heavyweight Champion, Layne Cali.
There we go. Hey, long time no see, man. How you been?
I'm doing great. How are you, buddy?
I don't think I've been better. I really haven't. I'm so glad to be here. It's been so long since the last time. I really do think we can outdo the last because, hey, look at us. It's almost a new year. It's time for new beginnings. Don't you agree?
I would certainly hope so. That's nice to hear, Layne. It'll be nice to catch up with you, and I see you're doing just fine. New PWL champion. You've held the belt for a few months now. Some solid defenses. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, man, it's episode 200. Like you say, we're ending the year. Let's try to get into next year better than we were. So
Definitely.
I'd say I'm glad to have you on. I'll say I'm glad to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you. I needed there to be no animosity heading into this because you asked me, you said there was nobody better to be on the show. No one at all. And, I came right in. I'm giving you the big 200. So you're welcome.
I do appreciate you coming through, and I will explain myself. If anybody gets views and if anybody gets some people talking when they're on this channel, it's you. So I am doing this for the subscribers, for the fans, swallowing the last little bit of pride I got. And ladies and gentlemen, Layne Cali, take me back to winning that PWL title. I wasn't there, heard it was a banger. What happened? Tell me about the day of, winning it, the night, what'd you do?
So the day of, I get to Harrison County. I'm running off a pipeline punch monster. I don't need much in my system, considering it's just Rucker, I get your friends with him, but it's just him, so I don't need to worry too awful much. The only time he beat me was because you helped him cheat, but that's okay. So we're in the ring. Title on the line. It's a big fight feel, a big match. He hits me with some goofy, gimmicky move, a knee to my face. I was going to kick out, but I didn't need to. Because in comes my best friend, one of my best friends in the entire world, Tyler Jax. And he absolutely costs Rucker. And then I take Rucker out right at his injured knee. I drive an elbow into the back of his head. And new PWL heavyweight champion. And then I paid Tyler Jax a little bit of money.
You did. Well, you're honest. At least you're giving Tyler Jax his due. You're admitting that you didn't win it on your own. You had help.
Best Tyler I've ever met, by the way.
Best Tyler you've ever met. When this all, you guys been boys for a while, or when this all come about?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Fair enough.
Always. Never a dull moment.
Go ahead. What was you saying? My apologies.
Never a dull moment between me and Jax. Never.
As I can see. Congratulations on the win. Layne, before we get too deep into the episode, I've been guilty of forgetting the fan comments lately. And I know things could possibly go sideways with Layne Cali, of all people. So what do you think? You want to see what the fans have to say about this episode?
Absolutely. I love the fans. I love them.
What the hell kind of bizarro episode is this? All right. Anthony Wayne Berrager Jr., I think you a JPWO member. Forget Happy Holidays. PWL Hall of Famer and JPWO member Anthony Berrager Jr. here wishing you happy Jeff Paul days for the New Year's and always. So he's wishing everybody Jeff Paul days. What do you have to say about Jeff Paul nowadays?
Great guy. Great guy. Without him, there's no me. He's a real stand-up guy. I gotta admit. There's nobody better in the world to ask for advice, to really just, he picks everybody up when they're down, I mean, seriously, if you need somebody to reach out a hand and just be the nicest guy in the world to you, it's Jeff Paul.
How do you like that? So, man, if I had a time machine, there wouldn't be a Layne Cali without Jeff Paul. Okay, noted. All right, Grace Duncan Harris. My bad. This has been the year of Jeff Paul's suicide dives. There's the name again. He has them nearly perfected, and I'm so glad I got to record a lot of them.
It's true.
Now, you're mentioned here, Layne. Layne Cali has a bright future in professional wrestling.
True.
Whether you hate him or love him, he is still on your mind.
That's true.
Yeah, you see my profile picture on Facebook?
I did. I see you're a big fan.
Sure. Okay. Marcus Anthony Rucker is one to watch in 2025. What do you think about that? That's from Grace as well.
Yeah, 2024 just, didn't so happen to be his year. But, yeah, maybe he'll get it in 2025. Maybe he'll get it.
I believe both of you guys are up for Rising Star of the Year in RSW.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a couple votes. Yeah,
okay, all right. We'll see how that plays out. It will be announced at Krampus Mania this Saturday. We'll dip into that in a little bit. Grace wrote a lot here, Layne. We're going to get through it, though.
I'm listening.
It's important stuff.
It's new beginnings. I listen when people talk now.
Huh. I'll be damned. Okay. The wrestling community loves and supports its own. We are the Freak Army and stand beside Sis Sisaki in her battle. I couldn't agree more. We just had Joe Brody on talking about the show. I know you got some things you got to do this week, but what do you think about the benefit show coming up?
It's the best thing we could have done. Genuinely, a whole show dedicated to her. It's beautiful. It's seriously beautiful.
I'll be damned. Okay. Number 5. Premier Wrestling League Mid-Atlantic did big things in 2024 and will without a doubt be even bigger in 2025. Y'all are rolling down to the beach, Layne. You're going to be taking on BBC. What's going on?
Oh dear. No, I'm just going to walk in and walk out the same way. Still holding this championship because there's nobody working harder in PWL than me. There's nobody making towns in PWL like me. There's nobody who's as recognizable in PWL as me. I'm going to walk in and walk out the same way I always do.
He never did get that choke slam on you, did he?
Not yet, no, and it's not going to happen.
Not yet. There's a chance. You said not yet. Okay. All right. Jeff James will be introduced as future WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Paul. Gave away his shoot name. We're in trouble. Vincent Toscano steps up when others step away and makes sure the annual camp shows keep happening for PWL. You've been at those camp shows. Tell me about those camp shows.
Oh, those camp shows are great. My first ever match in front of an audience was at those camp shows when I beat the...
You're on the Roni. Say what you got to say.
The luchador, Mac Mendoza.
Oh, man, don't down Mac.
Oh, all right. My bad. Wrestled Sean Cruz at one of those shows. It was pretty good. I beat him, but the ref reversed the decision for some reason. He counted the 3, but whatever. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Speaking of which, I have to thank you for the random shout-outs because Grace is shooting the footage, sending it to me to edit, and I get a little hello here and there from you before your matches, huh?
Of course. You can't be there, so I know where they're going, who they're going to.
You're a smart man. Speaking of Mac, rumor has it that Thomas Mines, a.k.a. Tsunami Tommy, fears Mac Mendoza. That's what Grace said. Any comment?
Mm-mm.
Do you like his rap music?
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair enough. We're almost through it. Logan Taylor will be appreciated in 2025. What's your thoughts on Logan Taylor?
He's appreciated now. I appreciate him. We just teamed up with Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas, he's been around for a while. He hasn't been around as long as Trevor Gage, but we all teamed up and we beat Team RSW. I wore my lucky flannel. That's why we won.
And he had on a sweater as well. You guys you're sweater bonded.
We were matching.
That's cute. Good for you. I'm glad that you're getting all these opportunities in RSW. Yeah, and I'm the one that brought you to RSW, so you're kind of getting those opportunities by proxy from me, so you're welcome. And this last one, you're going to love it. Speaking of which, Derek Davis, a.k.a. Spooky Lou, is a huge asset to any promotion and to indie wrestling worldwide. Go ahead. I'm sure you have all kinds of shit to say on that one.
Yeah, sure. You know, you're an asset. You're out of all the assets of all time, you're definitely one of them. Even though you haven't been to shows in a while, I'm sure you're still doing your part. And we all thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. We're moving on to Offie Kessler. You had a hell of a banger with him. Almost lost the title to him, Layne. Rumor has it, Offie says himself, okay, being an even bigger okay. I'm assuming that has something to do with 2025. He's going to be bigger.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know either. He's going to be bigger and better.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you're going to like this one. Brian Faust writes in, Layne Cali. Still waiting on Cali not to be a giant chicken. He said he's a chicken. Like a coward.
What? To what?
To what, Brian? He's not
What?
here to answer.
How am I a chicken? What have I ever ducked? What have I ever not done? I've never ran away from anything. I'm the PWI heavyweight champion. Anytime I have a match, I'm there. I'm normally one of the first people there, even if it's 5 hours away from me. There's nothing about me that's a chicken.
All right. Fair enough. Good rebuttal. All right. Let's move on to Gen Z. Gen Z. Yeah, Gen Z. Oh, boy. I love this one. Make sure to talk about the beatdown that myself, Layne Cali, and Tyler Rossfield gave you. Monongah, West Virginia, Layne. My wife and kids are there. Second show of the day. I got a huge announcement. Going to announce this big show, Trials of Ascension, that you were one of the stars of, and you guys just beat my ass. Well, how was that for you?
Listen. As good as it felt, it wasn't my idea. And I'll be honest. It was Tyler Rossfield's idea, and I'm so sorry. Okay? I've cut ties with him for a reason. You know, there's something wrong with him, you know? Have you ever heard him cut a promo on somebody? There's something wrong with his voice. You can hear it. He's got some real mental issues, man. And I'm terribly sorry. Even though kicking you in the back felt really good, I'm still really sorry.
Wow. That's a lot to digest. Thank you for the apology. I did see, because I keep an eye on everything. I seen that you just forearmed him in the face and left him laying. When'd you come to that decision? I mean, you guys were pretty tight. I tried to warn him. Here we are. What happened? Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Well, you see, one show at Harrison County, I'm winning this. The next show, it's me and him. Fatal 4-way tag team match for the tag team titles, and he gets pinned and we're out first.
Oh.
Think I can just carry around dead weight? You think I can just... I can't bring myself to be a loser, okay? I'm in the runnings for Rising Star of 2024. I'm the PWL heavyweight champion. This means something, okay? I can't be running around losing matches where I'm not even pinned. That's ridiculous, okay? After a while, enough is enough. I want success.
Fair enough. So you're telling me Tyler Rossfield, one of the best new talents in the state, was holding you down?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I understand. Anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
Home. You have time to watch. Go look back at our tag matches. See if I'm at fault for any of the losses. Go.
Okay. Fair enough.
Time to do your research.
I do my research, Layne.
My bad.
Okay, my bad. I apologize. Marcus Twist writes in. I haven't heard from this guy since Monongah, but let's see. I want to hear about Vance Desmond versus Marcus Twist and some other top matches of the year. I'll start with you, then I'll give my take. I don't know if you watched the Buchanan Show live on Facebook. If you did see that match, what'd you think? And what's some other favorite matches, not including yourself, this year?
It was a beautiful match. Seeing Twist get driven by Desmond, that was awesome. Okay? Because you know I don't like that guy. That guy doesn't like me. I don't like that guy either. But seeing him go through those tubes. It was great. It was great. It was like music to my ears, but for my eyes. It was awesome.
Okay, fair enough. Any great matches come to mind from this year?
From this year, God, on the topic of Vance Desmond, seeing Vance drive Rucker into the mat over and over. Rucker, here's the thing about Rucker. He doesn't know when to stay down for his own good, okay? That's his issue. He doesn't know when to give up. And
Some would consider that an admirable trait.
Yeah, look at him now. Shortly after that match, sure, he won some gold, but he has lost everything in under a year. Everything he had. And, some would say maybe after what Vance did to him, maybe he lost a couple brain cells.
Oh.
To be honest. After, you and him went into cahoots to try and embarrass me at Buchanan.
Sorry.
He lost everything not long after. And, that's just karma. Because let's face it, I always had his number.
Are you putting it on me? Everything that's happened to him, Tyler Jacks, what he did to him, you're somehow lumping me into this?
Well, here's the thing. You all embarrassed me, and me and Jax helped take everything away from him. So to a degree, yes, you are to blame. And you should be bad.
Noted. All right.
Look, Rucker, he's had a great start. Okay? He's had a great 2024. And you pissed that all away for him. All.
Okay. All right, Bubby.
Couldn't call the match.
Yeah.
On you.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed the Vance Desmond Marcus Twist match. One of the best matches in RSW this year. Great match. Like I say, the bulb spot was great. Some other great matches. Let's talk about you and Twist. What a moment. Marcus Twist returns and just knocked the living shit out of you, didn't he? I mean, just put you down. It was almost a squash match. You got the living shit knocked out of you. I got to see my best friend return, beat your ass. Beautiful moment. That was one of my favorite moments this year. You talk about Rucker, him and Duzan winning the tag titles. That was another favorite match. What about the time you lost to Rucker and Buchanan? You was talking about that. You tried to hit him with the belt, so I took the belt so you couldn't cheat, and he beat you, and then I banged your head off the announce table. That was one of my favorite matches. That was good shit.
It was good shit that led to his downward spiral. It was great shit. Let's also think. Mm-hmm. You all had your big happy moment, but at my expense, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? Twist reunited with DD Vice, and then they had 2 tag matches against me, and I beat them both times with 2 different teams. So you led to another downward spiral. And think about how you all's relationship went after you tried to screw me over.
You're going to bring that up.
Yes. Because look, every time you brought one of your friends to try and screw me over, what happened to them?
They got screwed over.
I embarrassed them right back. Every time that you and all your buddies tried to hurt me, I ended up hurting them so much worse. And that's why you're at home now.
Yeah. You're the reason I'm at home.
No. You are a 40-year-old man, and I asked you to stay. I said you don't have to leave. I beat your boys, but you don't have to leave. And you still left. That is not because of me. That's because of you. You are selfish. And you just wanted to sit at home and mope. That's all you wanted to do. You wanted to get the spotlight on you again, like I said from the start. It's no surprise. Never has been. I told everyone how you were from the start. And look, you proved me right.
Cool. All right. Yep. Sure did. Logan Taylor writes in. We got one more, and then we'll get down to brass tacks. All right. Logan Taylor of the Unappreciated. You son of a bitch. Logan Taylor of the Unappreciated. I trust I trust you to have an outside look at what you're doing to me. They're doing to me. You know whose year this was in West Virginia, and award show and nominations are an insult to the work I put in. There are no nominations for Wrestler of the Year. It is me. I earned it. Logan Taylor's Wrestler of the Year for the Ronies. The Ronies are happening right now. I give Logan Taylor Wrestler of the Year. Not you.
Yeah. No, that's fine. He earned it. I don't discredit other people. I don't discredit other people's success. You do. Because I've had an outstanding year, and you're just trying to snub all of my accomplishments. But hey,
you've got the title on your shoulder. I couldn't snub it if I wanted to. You've got proof.
Got proof. Hey, it's crazy how both times that I've done this podcast, I was a champion. Isn't that crazy? I've had one hell of a year.
It's been a year. In April, I hardly knew you. And from then on out, you come to my home promotion. You ran me away from my home. You've beat my ass. And here I am trying to get along with you. But you're making dig after dig. Hell, I tried to apologize in Bluefield, and you fucking pie-faced me and let me know there'll forever be beef.
Okay. Hold on. Before we go any further, when I came onto here, I was being friendly. I was being cool. You were the one that started making digs first.
Oh, we're going to say Spooky's bullying you again. Is that what we're going to do?
Oh, no. You're not bullying me. You're just trying to cause bullshit so maybe you can come back. But in all actuality, you've dug your own grave. You've done this to yourself, and now you're trying to shift the blame on me because you don't want to have to sit at home and live with the thought that you got yourself kicked out of the business. This is on you. Don't come at me.
Okay, you may have a point there, Layne, but besides personal shit I had going on, I had this punk kid week after week just screwing. I'm on commentary, and you come over and pie-face me and slap. Hell, you didn't pie-face me, you slapped me. That's the reason I ran in on the match. I was a bit emotional. You cost me my friends.
You cost you your friends. Listen, yeah, I slapped you, but you could have just sat and done your job like you were supposed to. But you couldn't do that.
I've heard it time and time again. You're a commentator. You're a cameraman. That's fair enough, and I was more than happy to be that. But when you got this punk kid slapping you in the face, what the hell do you expect a man to do?
Sit and do your job. That's what you're supposed to do.
When you're slapping me in the face.
Of course. You have a job to do. You know, you would be a terrible soldier. You let your emotions get in the way of everything.
All right.
You need to control yourself.
All right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to control myself. Layne, what's some goals for 2025?
Keep this. Add more to the collection. Get to more states. Get my name out there. Sell merch. Make money. You know, just the usual.
You ain't keeping shit. You're a marked man. You are a marked man. You got a target on your back. You got BBC this weekend. It's hard to tell if you somehow make it through that and don't get chokeslammed through the mat. Who else is going to be lined up? PWL has a hell of a roster. You're a marked man. You're in trouble.
Am I? Am I really? Think of the names that I beat this year.
Go ahead. Name them off.
Am I really marked? Oh, no. You know them. You were there for most of them. You were there. I beat your boy Reese Hayes. I beat Rucker. Multiple occasions, by the way. Hell, I've already beat BBC. I beat his buddy Frost. They were the guys that I won my first championship off of. You think I'm scared? No. I have no reason to be. I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of in that ring.
But what if,
I can be a marked man. Whoever
what
wants
if
it
all comes crashing down? What if you do lose that title?
Well, that's something we'll just have to wait and see.
It hasn't even crossed your mind. I guarantee it hasn't. You don't even think that way. You're unstoppable, aren't you, Layne?
Yeah. I mean, look at me. There's nobody that could take it from me. Nobody.
You know, last time you was on here, you got some heat. You pissed some people off. You said not only were you the best wrestler in the state, not only the best wrestler in the United States. You said he's the best wrestler in the world, and I'm getting those messages from people pissed off because of something you said.
And my point still remains, because who's doing it like me? No one. No one at all.
And I'll give you that. That's why you're here now, because I'll be as clear as I can be about it. You get views, you get people talking, so here we are.
Of course.
So the goal next year is just to keep that belt. You're going to hit some new promotions and just keep doing the Layne Cali shithead thing, huh?
Shithead thing that's a really funny way to put it. No, it's not a shithead thing. It's a wrestler thing, which obviously you know nothing about. Like I said from the very first time we spoke. Okay, there's nothing shithead about me. Okay, everything I do has a purpose. Everything I do is for me. Okay.
It's not shithead to have your boy take out Rucker's knee so you can win the PWL championship. That's not shithead.
I took out his knee. I took out his knee. I did the damage, and then he just snapped it. All right.
If you're so confident, why you need that? Why even have that plan if you didn't think you could beat Rucker by yourself? I think you were a little scared.
There was no need for me to be scared. I had him beat from the start, okay? It's just simple game planning, all right? It's the same way I knew you couldn't control your emotions, and that's why I acted like I was going to hit Didi and them with the belt, because I knew you'd come out. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I got the match thrown out because you couldn't control yourself.
And that's not a shithead thing to do. Knowing damn well I'd said what I said, and we're in my hometown again, where Spooky Lou gets humiliated the best, and you pull the old Eddie Guerrero, he hit me with the belt. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, listen, I don't understand how I could be a shithead whenever I have one of the smartest brains in the business in my head, okay? There's nothing shitty about the way I think. Because obviously, it's cost you everything. It's cost Rucker everything. It cost you your friendship with SNS.
Yeah.
It's
easy.
I am. It's so easy. I have one of the smartest minds you will ever come across. That's why I hold this. That's why I had one of the most generational tag team runs in PWL. That's why I'm still making headlines. That's why I have the most viewed video slapping you in the face for RSW. Yeah. Everything I do is because of me. I've created my own success.
You created your own success. I think if you would have slapped the ring post, I don't think you would have got 96,000 views. I don't even think you would have been at that event if I hadn't booked you for that event.
But here's the thing. I slapped the guy that everybody wanted to see get slapped. And that is why I got the views it got. Because everybody wants to see you go down, and you just don't realize it.
I'm down, bro. You win. I'm down and out. You know, I got nothing to lose now, Layne. Have you ever thought of that? What happens when a man has nothing to lose, just has sit here to dwell on shit and contemplate how the hell I'm going to take you down?
He'll sit his ass at home and watch the show. That's what he'll do.
All right, man. I mean,
you're not going to do anything.
I got time if I got anything, Layne.
You're going to sit at home. That's what you're going to do.
Maybe I'm not. You know, I may not be welcome everywhere. That's fine. You know, I've been a fan before. I've bought a ticket and went to shows before, Layne. I definitely keep up on where you're at. Maybe I'll come check out a show or two that you're on one day.
That's fine. There's security for a reason.
I've seen y'all's security. Your security ain't shit.
Hey, if you come in the ring, I'll just get to slap the taste out of your mouth again. It's fine.
I'm just saying, I know damn well I'm not a wrestler, but I'm pretty sure I could get by security if I wanted to.
And listen, as true as that might be, you're not going to get past me. So if you want to come in, run your mouth, cause a scene, that's fine. I'll give you another viral clip whenever I stomp the dog shit out of you. That's totally cool with me. You want your spotlight, I'll give it to you.
And you know what, Layne? let's give you your due. What's so wrong with me getting stomped out by the PWL champion as long as I get to get that one last slap in on your face again? Because let's not get it twisted. I've got to slap you as well, and it felt pretty fucking good.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Yeah, you got to slap me. You got to slap me. It was a cheap shot, but you got to slap me. Hey, at least whenever I slapped you, you knew it was coming. I looked right down at my hands. All right. Listen. You can come. You can slap me. That's fine. I don't care. That's totally fair. You can slap me, but whenever you're leaving on a stretcher, don't blame me, okay?
Fair enough.
Just remember, like the entire time we've known each other, your actions have consequences. The consequences of your actions is the reason you're sitting at home. That's the reason you're not getting to see all your buddies. That's the reason all your buddies don't want to see you. You don't realize what you're doing. You let your emotions get the better of you. And that's how it's always been with you. You can't control yourself.
I'm human, man. I'm here trying to build a scene, trying to make things better. I see a talented wrestler that I think could be better. I try to better said talented wrestler. Said wrestler is a piece of fucking shit and just does what he wants. And you know what? Management loves it. They're like, that Layne Cali kid, he's a shithead, but he's my shithead. Sure, he's right. He said that Spooky Lou's a bully, and he's been bullying him. So fuck it. Fuck Lou. You goddamn, you turned a whole promotion against me. Congratulations.
Everything I say has truth to it. Everything I say for a reason. Like I said, one of the smartest minds in this business you'll ever meet.
Okay. So we've established that if I get in the ring with you and slap you, you're going to stomp me out. I'm going to leave on a stretcher. And you know what? I'm not even saying that wouldn't happen. That probably would happen. So good. Thank you for calling that to my attention. What if I still have some strings I can pull behind the scenes? What if, Layne? What if I don't have to get physical? What if we fuck with your business?
Well, you've tried to do that before. You've tried to pull strings. You've had your friends come at me. You've had
I pulled some strings, got you a fucking job.
Oh yeah, and trust me, I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But like I said, everything you've done has backfired on you. So I would take some lessons from the past, and maybe, just maybe, I would leave it alone.
Don't you think?
I would just
that
watch.
Was the plan. But you got me thinking, man. You're right. I failed over and over again. I've got to have a chance at some point. My chances have to be getting better, right?
Well, let's take a trip down memory lane. All right. At first, I embarrassed you. I slapped you. That's how it really all started. We went back and forth, but that was really the spark that ignited everything.
96,000 views. Congratulations.
Probably more by now.
Probably.
But then you kept on getting me put in matches against your boys.
Yep.
And hell, most of those matches I lost. But in the end, I might have lost those battles, but I won every single war. You tried to embarrass me with Rucker. Everything was taken away from him. You tried to embarrass me with SNS, and I beat them with 2 different tag teams and got you kicked out of RSW. Everything you've done has failed on multiple occasions. You've tried to get in the ring with me and embarrass me there, and you got the snot kicked out of you. There is nothing you have left to do to me. There is nothing.
Okay.
Give it up while you're ahead. Sit at home, watch the show, and do what you do. Edit the videos. Do your commentary. Get things posted. You want to give people the spotlight? Stop showing up and trying to take it from them. Give people the spotlight that you say you want to give to them.
All right. And you make a lot of good points there. But there's one thing you're wrong about, Layne. This ain't over. The war ain't over. You've won battle after battle after battle. And you know what? Let's say you're right about me rubbing off on Rucker and Rucker's luck going bad. And I cost Saturday Night Special some matches. Fuck it. I won't ask for help anymore. It's me and you, bub. It's me and you. And you know what? I'm not saying I'm going to wrestle you. I'm not saying I'm coming after the PWL title because that's silly. I have more respect for the business than to say something that's silly. I know damn well I couldn't beat you for the PWL title. I want you to know this is not over, and I will win the war in the long run. Somehow, some way.
I wish you the best of luck. I really do. And I can't wait. I can't wait till the next time I get to see you in person.
Who
I'm going to
says
make
you
you
even got
famous
to see
again.
me for this shit to happen? Who says you have to see me? I can't go nowhere. Where can I go?
Hey,
I'm on the outside looking in.
that's fine. That's fine. The whole reason I'm on here is what? To keep you relevant? That way your voice, your opinions are still heard? Is that the whole reason I'm here?
This
Because
is the
at this
biggest
point, this
episode in
isn't an
channel
interview.
history. Huh?
This isn't an interview. What is this at this point? This is an argument. Documented live for everyone to see just to keep Spooky Lou relevant. You shitting me?
I thought that we would give the fans something special for episode 200. I didn't think
And
we
you
were
gave them me. So yes, you did give them something special. You gave them my appearance. You're welcome.
I appreciate you, Layne. I really do. But yeah, obviously we're never going to get along. You know, like again, I tried to apologize. You are who you are. It's not. Nobody's going to change that.
And you are who you are. You're a fraud. Everything you claim to be is a lie. I'm glad we both see how we truly are.
Okay. Like I say, man, it's a small state. It's a small state. Don't think that I just have connections with PWL. I don't think I have any connection with RSW, but that's neither here nor there. If you want to expand, you want to branch out, please do. Please do.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, man. All right. I do appreciate you coming on, even though you're a piece of fucking shit. Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to put out there? I got to give you that. If you want to slang your shitty merch or slang your shitty socials, whatever you want to do, you just have the fuck at it.
All right, you can follow me on Instagram, Layne Cali _. You can follow me on Facebook, just Layne Cali. Hell, yeah, that's just about it. If you see me at a show, buy my merch. It's better than everybody else's merch because I actually know how to design shit. Yeah, that's all. Thank you, Lou. Bye. Thank you for the platform.
Episode 200, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.